I just so wild that what Dallas had was without 2 point guards. Is that right?
Yeah, the coach made sure that we knew about it in the pregame.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God. Oh yeah, that's because you said you did the quote tweet about Skylar licking her chops after that. Yeah. All right. Well, welcome back to another Storm postgame report. The kind folks of Climate Pledge Arena are doing cleanup after this 83, sorry, 83 to 77 victory over the Dallas Wings. It's struggling Dallas Wings, obviously, without Paige Beckers and concussion protocol, unfortunately. There were a lot of five jerseys in the building, I will tell you that. Um, because Christian and I were talking about um the Wings team down a Paige Beckers, down a Ty Harris, so effectively down two one guards, and still gave Seattle hell. I mean, just this game, if I remember correctly, Christian, Dallas was leading at the half. Um, yeah, and this was a game that required a few lengthy runs from this Storm team to pull ahead. I think you highlighted it specifically in late in the game, but I will say this. I'm gonna get this out of the way, and you can tell me how you feel. Obviously, that's what we're doing this for, right? But I was really down on this at halftime. I was like, you know, you are effectively full strength, of course, not counting the players with season-ending injuries, right? You are trying to bounce back after three straight losses. Oh, there's Gabby Williams. I mean, not say the losses part too loud. Um,
She might come over and be like, "Hey, yo."
she might, have to give me some defensive tips. They might need me on the wing. Um, hey, she's been doing her part though. I mean, leading Seattle in scoring in three of the last four games. Like,
Should she have to though? That's the thing.
no,
Like, she's carrying this team. Like more times than not, she's carrying it.
like,
And it's crazy because we were
uh,
just talking about this a couple games ago. Like, man,
it feels like a repeating theme. Yeah, it's like Gabby Williams puts on her Superman cape. Uh, you know, hey, I mean, that's a testament though. I mean, like for her to show that offensive game again, we talked about it a few days ago when I was in the corner of the Lumen Field press box. Um, she's playing at a great pace. I was worried about her offense coming into the season, and I asked Noel Quinn about it post game. I was like, hey, I'm not the smartest with these things. I was like, what are you seeing from her that's different? What has changed? Is there an extra gear? Is it her simply being here since the start of the season? What is it? She mentioned the confidence, and they want her to keep in that. And Quinn basically said, yeah, we need her to do this right now. And that's obvious, right? I think we all
yeah.
see that. Um, I, you know, I was down. I was pretty down on this because it's a sloppy game. This was one of the sloppier games. I mean, for Dallas to shoot 34.9% from the field and lead Seattle the way that they did, right? And have control of this game without 2 point guards. Um,
For most of the game, honestly, really until the
yeah,
fourth.
yeah, it's not good. Um, but the hope and the foolishness in me, like you see the runs that they put together to push ahead, like you are going to need to win the ugly games. And this was certainly an ugly one. But, I think obviously my tone would be a lot more negative if they had come out of this one and you're now on 4 game losing streak. You know, I don't know. There are some things that give me hope, like being able to battle back to get the tight win. 30 bench points compared to Dallas's 14, I believe. Uh,
Probably
you
the
know,
only advantage Seattle had tonight, honestly. And
yeah.
I'm not
Oh,
even
and then
joking. I'm
no,
serious.
no, that's accurate. I mean, the rebounding numbers.
Oh my God,
Oh
don't get me
my
started,
God.
man.
Well, that was one thing. Was there's one gentleman who was new in the press proceeding today. Goes, wow, three offensive rebounds as we're waiting to do the press conference. I'm like, there's no way. I was like, he's reading the stat wrong, or he's reading one player. Nope,
Yeah.
Seattle had three offensive rebounds, and this is something again, as Christian and I have talked about throughout the year. I feel like we might have talked about it even last game. Like they do not rebound the ball well. And that is a problem. I mean, for as much as we like that front court, right? I mean, it's uh, Anyway, I've been yapping a little bit. Um, yeah, man, what'd you see? Because as you and I have talked about before we started, and I've already said it, of course, but this was an ugly one. They got out of it, but it was a lot more of a struggle than I'm sure it needed to be.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you come out of the first quarter, right? The very first quarter, you shoot 42% from the field, you shoot 50% from three, 36 attempts. You hold Dallas to under 30% shooting for the field. They only made 20 something 28.6% of threes, yet they're still leading by one. Do you know why they led by one? Because Dallas out rebounded Seattle 17-8 in the first quarter. In the very first quarter. Dallas had almost as many offensive rebounds as Seattle had total offensive rebounds, 8-8
Oh
in
my
the first
God.
in the first quarter.
Oh my God.
Luckily for Seattle, Dallas only scored 6 points off of those eight um, offensive rebounds, which is a good ratio. When you think about it, because it could have
For
been
sure.
easily double that. But considering you're out Paige Beckers, you're out Ty Harris, arguably two of your better shooters on the team besides Enrique, um, the points just weren't really there, for a majority of the game. The second quarter wasn't really that much better. I mean, you get outscored 18 to 11. 11 points is the second lowest quarter total for Seattle this year. And Dejounte Carrington scored or assisted on 15 of those 18 points. So, I mean, it was really a one woman wrecking crew in the second quarter, right?
Hmm.
Then they go on the 8-0 run, and they go on the halftime. And you come out of the third quarter. I mean, I think the 16-2 run was in the third quarter, and the 12-0 run somewhere in the middle of the fourth, I believe. But I mean, like I've said before, I think I said during the game, Gabby and Skylar are both top 10 in minutes, I believe. Let me go double check. No, Gabby is sixth at 34.3. Skylar is 15th at 31.8. NECA is 17th at 32.6. No one crossed more than 32 minutes today. That's because they weren't producing. That's because the bench was there. The bench produced almost half of the team's offense. I mean, they
Oh my God. Yeah.
almost half. I mean, if you had like maybe like 5 or 7 more, it's closer to 50. But being that close to the production, that's not good. At one point, out of the 25 points that they had at one point, I think that was in the second quarter. In the second quarter, 15 of those were bench points. Like, I understand that they won at the same time. We're probably not gonna remember this game in about a month or two, right? But the issues that we've been seeing are the same issues that stem from last season. A consistency when you're not scoring in transition, there really isn't an offensive identity. It's really just Skylar, NECA, Gabby, save us, and that's just not going to cut it. I mean, you had Dom play more minutes, score more points than Alicia Clark. Erica Wheeler, a
Oh my God.
literal godsend. Oh my God. The fourth, I don't know what's up with her and her hatred for fourth quarters, but she just gets she gets her work done in the fourth quarter. Like that one kid at
Hmm.
school that takes his sheet of homework to school and finishes at school, but gets a
I
hundred.
did that a few times.
I did it all the time, bro. I played sports. I did that time, but that's Erica Wheeler. I mean, she had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 for 8. Like Skylar wasn't really assisting early. That's what Erica Wheeler is for. She comes in and I said this before the season started. Erica Wheeler is going to be a valuable piece for this team. I
Hmm.
didn't think it would be
Hmm.
shooting wise because that's what she's doing so far. But I always say like people thought it was a joke. I'm like, no, Erica Wheeler's a good guard. Like you're letting one season next to
Yeah.
a superstar guard like Caitlin Clark confuse you on who Erica Wheeler is. They call her Wheels for a reason. You saw that one spin move she had in the third
Mm,
quarter, that layup. I'm like,
mm.
oh man, you're not gonna look like Kobe. Jesus.
Uh,
But no,
yeah,
yes.
that
Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say that like don't get me wrong, you know, I I knew when that signing happened, right? I remember where it was. I was actually in downtown Seattle. I looked down at my phone and you would let me know, and I was like, huh, okay. You know, I knew this was a vet. I knew the high energy was there, and it's obviously been really fun to see that, tenfold. You're around Erica Wheeler, right?
Yeah,
But like I think I sent it into our Slack like 3 or 4 times. I was like Erica Wheeler, like with other like adjectives to describe what she was doing, right? Because like she's
everywhere.
everywhere is the perfect way to describe it. Like, I understand it's not as simple. Oh my God. It's not as simple as that. Sorry, there was some. Did you hear that? Oh,
No, I thought
something.
the lights were getting dimmer or something.
Oh, I heard a yell. It was like cartoon, like Wilhelm scream. Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah, no, really. Oh my God, it's the ghost of Miss Miss Three Pointers. I don't know.
someone
Jesus Christ.
someone stubbed their big toe.
Yeah, dude. Someone tried to get a rebound.
Oh
Um.
man. Oh
Uh.
no.
No, it's like she's like it's been remarkable, and I understand like there's more than goes into it than just putting your best 5 players on the floor. And hey, maybe with the starts that Seattle has had at times, maybe they need to change some things up, right?
Yeah.
I know you mentioned three guard. You've mentioned the 3 guard lineup a good amount throughout the. I really like Zia Cook's minutes. They weren't quite as perhaps dazzling as Erica Wheeler, but I
Yeah.
thought she had some good minutes. 14 minutes in this game. Two threes, two threes, two threes. Christian, that's something I would have
Yeah.
expected. I understand that her EuroLeague 3-point numbers were pretty good, if I'm getting
Yeah.
that correctly. Um, so hey, again, as I said last show, I can get proven wrong. I'll happily get proven wrong. NECA had some great things. I asked her about that, knowing that she spent, I believe it was just the one season in 2023 with Zaya on that Sparks team. And she gave props to Zaya. Said, she's in a nurturing environment. She's a young player, and NECA has been very proud of what she's seen from Zaya early. And I mean, this praise from a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So,
Don't take it lightly.
I mean, yeah. Um, yeah, I think one of my biggest things, and I'm not trying to like jump to it immediately,
Yeah.
is like my biggest positive was those 2 guards off the bench. Like, it's just remarkable to see some of the struggles they've had and to see who's showed up, right? Even it was only 6 minutes, but a point per minute for Lee Ru, 2-3. Oh my God. Wow. I thought back, well, it's funny. I've talked about my appreciation for Liru basketball since she was acquired, right? Christian knows this. I was actually up on the hockey press box up there before a Kraken game, and I was watching film. I was like, wow. It's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
watching ice hockey later that night, and I'm appreciating Liru highlights. And just to see the 3 pointers, I know Coach Quinn was asked, I don't remember what it was specifically, but mentioned that, I think it was when Tierra McCowan was on the court, they were going to put Lee in, put strength on strength in the paint.
Yeah.
And they did. I mean, they did match like almost identical minutes, but I kind of wish I saw more in this game. I did ask Coach Quinn pregame, I was like, hey, flatly, not directly verbatim, but I was like, what do you need to see from it? Like, what is up with Ezzy offensively, right?
Yeah.
Because you and I have talked about it. The last time I think I sat down here, because again, last show I was in a press box. Um, we talked about it, kind of the harsh reality maybe with Ezzy Magbagor. Um, and no, he said, hey, we need more from her. Plain and simple, need more from Ezzy and need her to be more aggressive. Christian knows how the saying goes,
An aggressive edge
right?
is a dominant is. Yeah.
There we go. Um, and there were don't correct me if I'm wrong, but there were a few possessions in that third quarter where it looked like she was getting into that. She was getting, in that paint area around it. They weren't, directly at the basket, but I mean, it was as close as short of a mid range as it gets, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like down on the block. So I thought those were encouraging minutes. But it kind of went away. And I mean, as he teetered on fouling out of this game at 5. So,
Yeah.
right? So it's tough. And as we've talked about, of all people to give grace to and to have like patience with, I'm
It's
sorry, I'm kind of
Ezzy.
hiding this. Yeah, this was under the table here
Eh,
for some
we
reason.
playing basketball all
They
around
need
the
a
world, y'all.
they don't need another front court player. When I was playing basketball, I was too big to play guard or wing, so they put me down put me down on the low block. They said,
Hey,
"Go rebound."
you know what's crazy?
Hey, they
I was
they
I
need
was
rebounds.
literally I grew up loving soccer, but unfortunately
Hmm.
I hit 14. I was like 200 and something pounds. And they put my big ass on the football field. They say, no, you're going to the football, not the football, the gridiron.
The
Uh,
the hand egg. Give that
American
man the
football.
pigskin. Yeah. Hey, I still remember. Oh, there's one guy who sits behind the press row and who's like tries to explain boxing out to these professionals. I'm like, brother, uh,
Wait, what?
let's
Oh man.
he's like directly the seating because again, there's press row here and then there's the direct fan seats. Like this is legit. They're right on behind us. There's one
Yeah.
guy who's I don't know if he's got season tickets or he just walks down here or what, but he always is like trying to explain boxing out. And like I realize they're having rebounding issues, but I'm like, I promise you, these professionals know how to box out.
I
I
think
hope
they know
so.
how to set a seal. I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. Sorry, I know for an ugly game I've been somewhat positive, but I think I'm trying to take what are some of the fans out there like trying to take something away from this game. Like I'm
Yeah.
taking something out of it.
We
And
leave here with
I mean
something.
it yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was kind of the Erica and Zaya minutes. Of course Gabby's been your is it blasphemous to say that Gabby Williams has been your best player for the last four games?
Not at all. I mean, she's been the most consistent.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. I mean, I know I've said this game is was ugly, but is there anything you saw specifically that was wrong with Seattle? I mean, to me, it looked like in some of their struggles, it was just some bad shots, some ugly shots. Obviously, it doesn't help when you're not getting offense O boards. I mean, only getting the three O boards, but um, yeah, I don't know. Was there anything specific you saw that made this, something that uh, should have probably been more than a 6 point differential?
Well, for one, last year Seattle was as high as third in rebounding, as low as sixth. They finished at sixth. This year they are second to last. Actually, no, they're tied for second to last with the Sparks.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's not good. 32.5 a game. And then you look at what they were scoring off those offensive rebounds last year, as far as second chance points. Right now, Seattle is kind of in the middle of the pack at nine as far as second chance points. But you
Mm,
have to remember, this is a team that generated almost half of its offense in transition and off of
yeah.
turnovers. So you look at 2024, and it's like, don't get me wrong, we're only 8 games to the season. But last year they were top four at 12-point game, 12 per game. It's not the same, and it all really comes from the rebounding. You just can't allow the Dallas Wings to out rebound you. They're one of the worst teams in the league for a reason, you know. And that's not saying, oh my God, they're just so terrible they shouldn't be in the league. I'm not saying that. I mean, they lose a couple more games, he might think about it, you know. Um, but no, seriously, I just, as far as Seattle and the struggles that I've seen, consistency, getting stops,
Yeah.
the the paint presence has not been there, and I just don't understand why when you have Dominique Malonga and Lee Rue sitting on the bench, they played a combined 15 minutes. I feel like a broken record, but that's just not gonna cut it.
No, for sure.
It's not, and like don't get me wrong, I love the three guard lineup,
Mm,
but at some point you're gonna have to put Dom at three because there's nowhere else for her to
yeah.
go with Nneka and
Mm-mm.
Ezzy on the floor.
Yeah.
She's mobile
Yeah.
enough. We've seen her versatility enough. She's gonna get
Yep.
burned a couple times, but that's just part of the process.
You got to
She
live
has to
with
be
it.
put out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a rookie, man. She's 19 years old.
Like you keep saying, if Seattle is going to be the Storm team that they, can potentially achieve, it comes through Dominique Malonga getting to a certain level, and that level can't be achieved if she's just sitting on the bench, right? Like we can't have her in street clothes and you get better. If there's a way to do that, let me know because I probably would have, continued my I, as ooh, ooh. Yeah, no,
Has he?
yeah. Listen,
Yeah. What do you
I
say?
think it's all and oh, I was gonna say nobody needs to see my dumb ass on a court. Um, I think it's all tangible struggles though. Like you mentioned,
Yeah.
this dates back to last season. And I think the last few post games I've been like, hey, is this a trend? Is this a flash? Or is this just who they are? And I think a lot of these struggles are proving to be who they are. Like, it's nice to see some of these players contribute, from the three. I mean, you shot 40% from three tonight. It's not the worst thing in the world, but
Not at
you
all.
know, um, nice to see Nneka hit the two she took. AC's only points coming from the 3-point line. Uh, it's just both Zaya and Lee, their only shots made were 3-pointers. Hell yeah, brother. The rebounding though, that's tangible, right? That dates back to last season. I've heard Noel Quinn talk about that.
Yeah.
Um, it was a minor difference, but they lost the turnover battle again, right? Um, I know that shoot, where are we at now? 36 games left on the season?
Yeah.
It's like we gotta. I should put a big like countdown clock somewhere
No,
in
for
here
real.
so I can remember. But it's just I understand that things can be fixed. Over the course of that's a long period of time.
Yeah.
But also,
Easy.
I have to wonder like, uh, so are these things that actually can be fixed, or is like habit is something that will overrule this team? You know what I mean? Like
Like,
the issues that have been present aren't foreign.
I think one of the biggest issues for this team right now is the fact that, again, as great as they may be shooting the three this year at 35%, that's right behind the Aces, Lynx, and Liberty, three viable championship contenders. Probably the only three that I would really talk about right now as far as
Mm.
guaranteed. Like the Phoenix Mercury, haven't really seen enough consistently. I mean, they have six rookies on their roster for a reason. Great rookies, but rookies for a reason. Um, Despite being the fourth best team as far as threes, do you know where Seattle sits as far as attempts?
Ooh.
The second worst in the
Um.
league.
Oh. No. Hmm.
So you go from worst in the league last year on attempts and percentage, and you go this
Mhm.
year fourth best on percentage. You drop a little bit to on attempts. I don't understand that, and I think a lot of that comes from the fact that they're not really running plays to get the most out of their shooters. They have five players right now shooting above league average or better, around like 35, 37%, upwards into the 40s. Like the threes they're taking, they're in the flow of the offense.
Mhm.
And don't get me, I know a lot of teams run kind of a read and react style, which is kind of what Seattle's been doing for a while, really, in Noel Quinn's tenure. But if they really want to maximize the talent behind these shooters, the plays have to be drawn up for them. Not always a pick and roll with Sky and Nneka going to the rim. As
Mhm.
viable as that is, as great, as reliable as that action is, you have to have more. That's just really as simple as it is, especially when you go against teams that are actually good. Like I can't remember who tweeted it
Yeah.
earlier. Somebody else from the beat. I think it was the Wings beat. But so they were basically saying that there's no way in the world the Seattle Storm should be losing to the Dallas Wings. This is the Dallas Wings beat writer so saying this.
Hmm.
So like I mean, a team without 2 point guards, you allow their
Yeah.
starting small forward to be their best passer, basically their leading scorer. You know, it all just goes back to the defense, rebounding, and just I feel like Quint when saying this the will do or the want to mentality, it's not
Mm.
there. The crashing the boards used to be one of their biggest strengths. It's not that this year. Like I'm watching guards from and wings on Dallas just pun intended. I'm just watching them get to the rim, and I'm just like, are we gonna put our arms up? Like it was just, yeah, man. That's all I got on that part. It has to get better. It absolutely has to.
Yeah, just so often this season, and obviously, particularly tonight, sticks out to me. Um, in that regard, in this regard, but so too often I see one big in the paint, like surrounded, one Seattle big in the paint, surrounded by a bunch of opposing teams, players, not just bigs,
Yeah,
right? And it's just like, okay, there's no like, and I'm envisioning there's one specific like scenario down here on this end of the court. Um, Where's Lee Rue, who's got no help? She's tangled up with somebody, and it's a bunch of White Wings jerseys. And I'm like, well, who's clearly going to get the rebound here? It's not Lee Rue, and it's not her fault. Um, man, yeah, no, I mean, it's just, I don't think that the worries that we had with this, most of them, the worries that we had with this team coming into the season were invalid. And we're seeing that, right? In terms of rebounding, in terms of, you mentioned, um, to an extent, the depth, because again,
yeah. I'm not sure how Lexi Brown still can't crack the rotation.
I,
When you need shooting, you need guards
need
that can
shooting,
produce.
need
Listen,
some pick of offense.
Skylar, mm, Skylar and Erica cannot be the only guards producing. I know Gabby is technically a guard because that's where she's put in the lineup, but she's not a guard. They can't be the only two guard, the only two main ball handlers producing. They just can't. Zaya can't play 10 minutes. She has to play at least 14 to 15 every game. I would like her to play more, honestly, to see what you
Yeah,
can really get from her.
for
Again,
sure.
Lee Rue, 5 minutes a game. That's not going to cut it. She gets a quick foul and you yank her, and she doesn't play again for the rest of the game.
Hmm.
Do not like that. I don't, especially considering we talk about Lee Rue and Dominic Malonga, how deep this team is in the front court. Well, I can't tell because they're never on the court.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's really where I'm at with that. Considering I know what those players have in them. I mean, Lee Rue came and hit two threes. I don't think she's ever done that in her career. I can go check, but I can. It's not. I'm pretty sure she has.
Mm. I think Storm PR tweeted something about it. I don't remember, but I mean,
Lexi
I
Brown was
enjoyed
the
the hell out
only.
of it.
I did too. Lexi Brown was the only player today to not touch the court.
Hmm.
The game was never that close to the point where she couldn't see playing time.
Yes, back-to-back games with DNPs.
I look at it like this. Lexi is still, she's healthy, right? But she's
As
getting
far
back
as
in
we
game.
know, yeah.
I think she's still getting back in game shape. Sometimes she gets, like I said,
Mm,
previous spots, she kind of dies on screens. And
yeah.
that really just comes back from game shape. She didn't play last year, really. She didn't play a lot of the last two seasons. So there's a lot of getting back into it that happens with live game reps. You're just not going to get in practice. You're not going to get that in training camp. You're not going to get that with one preseason game. She might not be back to her old self until the least All Star break. And I think, honestly, considering everything that she's been through, that's perfectly fine. But we're not going to know if she doesn't play. Like get racking up DNP CDs, being the only player not touches the court. I'm not. I don't understand the logic behind that. Considering you are kind of guard deficient this year, without Jordan Horston, without Katie Lou Samuelson, not really a guard, but she shoots like one. Without a Nikki Mule to see what she could do in her sophomore year, you don't have the the grace to not play players like that. Especially when you know they can affect the game. Like Lexi was one of the best 3-point shooters in the league less than a year ago. So I'm trying to understand where the fall off is at to justify the fact that she can't touch the court when everyone else played. Everyone played, Chuck. Everybody. Not a minute.
It's, I'm looking at her game log here, right? And she's played 5 of their 8 games. So she hasn't touched the court at all in 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
Her most minutes played came in that opener with 11. I mean, she got close to that with 9 in the Atlanta game,
Yeah.
but everything else is 6 or lower. And that includes just 1 minute in the home win here against Phoenix.
Oh wow.
Uh,
That shouldn't surprise me, but it does a little bit.
yeah, no, I mean, it's like, I'm gonna go back and look at it. because I remember it, but I don't remember it specific. I think I can pull it up. But when I asked NECA about Zaya
Great question, by the way. Yeah.
and Eric, could have been better.
Oh, this
But
guy, man.
she NECA mentioned how they are a little bit. She didn't say it verbatim, but she did mention how you know I think especially once we had drafted Dom, we had an idea of what our front court was going to look like, and we needed support for Sky and Gabby. So you're, looking at
Yeah.
two wings, right? Um, and so she, you know, highlights Erica here, and then mentions Zaya. It's like, okay, yes, those are two other guards, and I realize she doesn't have to talk on the whole roster, right? But
Yeah.
I have to wonder what just yeah, to not even get a minute, as you said in the beginning of referencing her, to not even get a minute from a player that you traded for, that
Traded a
you
second round
highlighted,
pick for.
that you traded, yeah, not nothing. Um, and well, with this league, right? I mean, that draft pick could easily just be cut, but not
Yeah.
the point.
Madison Connolly.
Um, no, yeah. Um, you know, you acquired her with the intention of her helping your shooting ability. I just when you're having struggles, when Alicia Clark goes 1 for 5 in this one, uh, and I have such trouble putting a lot of blame on Skylar because I'm like, hey, I don't know if it's still that. I don't know if you've looked at the usage for her lately, but when she's having had this second half that she did last year when she had the start to the season that she did this year. Um, yeah, she needs help. I mean, and she's gotten some of that from Erica, but you know, unfortunately, you don't have the rest of this lineup that you're going to be able to just say, okay, now that we've got one person to help Skylar, everything's all good. That's not. Uh, Now it's second highest usage of her career behind the 2022 season. So, uh, still not sustainable though, is the point, right?
See where
So,
we're at now. In the last 4 games, she's at that'll be a little higher. 24.6. Still pretty high, but
yeah.
not as high.
And the point is though, right? It's like you shouldn't have to rely on her much. Not only not have to, but you probably shouldn't bank on that considering the longest regular season in WNBA history, and obviously factoring hopeful playoffs there. God forbid something happens before you get to the playoffs. What then, Christian? I mean, right?
Hardships.
Yeah, and God knows the hardship's not going to produce like Skylar Diggins. So,
Listen, man, when Gabby turned her ankle, I stopped breathing for a second. Genuinely, you know, as a person that's covered this team now, going into a second season, knowing what she's capable of, knowing how important she is to this team, if she would have missed any significant time, the season would be over, effectively. As far as competing for a championship, that would have been. I just hope that, like she said, I don't feel anything now. But I will tomorrow. We all have been there. You turn your ankle, you wake up tomorrow. Either one, it's the size of a watermelon, or two, you feel like you lost an entire ankle. You can't walk, right? But I think it's going to take some time. I'm trying to remember who they played next off the top of my head. Dallas, no, Phoenix again. Jesus Christ! Yeah, they play Phoenix again. Then they go to Minnesota, and then the
mhm.
Valkyries, and then the Sparks, and then the Ace. Like there really isn't a break for them as
Mm-mm.
far as quote unquote good teams.
Yeah.
I mean, the Sparks not really a great team, right? But by the time June 24th rolls around, I'm pretty sure Kaylin Clark will be back. So yeah, June as a whole is gonna be rough. Yeah. It's not pretty.
Yeah, man. I'm sitting here looking at the LED board and I see Seattle versus Minnesota as the next home game. I'm like, oh, great. Get to deal with the Lynx again.
Is it the next home? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, June 11th.
11th. Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know. Things
Should be
happen,
fun.
things change. You know, I've been proven wrong before. I mean, I will say this, like it's been nice to have the attendance, oops, sorry, over where is it, 10,000, good energy in the building. I mean, we had Sue and Megan in here, they had a few Seahawks players in here, da 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 da. I mean, the support's there,
Are you getting box
the
scores again?
that we had yeah, I guess they printed them. I was like, oh, let me get that. Um, well, it just shows me that Lexi Brown didn't play. That's what, you know.
Oh,
I don't know, man. It just makes you wonder. Like, that's just not going to be sustainable for this team over the course of 44 games. Like, at some point, you got to play her.
yeah. I mean, you got your two best players are to turn to 35 this year. Now, this isn't like
Yeah.
some type of this isn't an ageism podcast, but at this point
No.
in this league, where everyone is getting younger, everyone's getting faster, those minutes are going to catch up with them. They cannot
Yeah.
continue to play 30 plus minutes every single game. That's one they shouldn't have to. Like these
No.
players are Hall of Famers, first ballot. Like multiple all WNBA selections. They shouldn't have to carry a team at 35 years old. I don't care how great they are. They shouldn't have to.
No.
Not at this stage of their career,
That's
you know?
that's the big thing for me is that it's like it's not like we're saying, to hell with Skylar and NECA. No, that's not the point. The point is that they shouldn't have to. Like if this roster was sorted out and whether it's built properly or handled properly or however you want to put it, if that's the case, then you're not worried about overworking Skylar and NECA. You know, uh, I wouldn't necessarily say Alicia Clark because as what is she still the oldest? She's the oldest player in the league, if
Yeah.
I
It
remember
says every
correctly.
broadcast.
Yeah. Um, they haven't. They've managed those minutes, whether that's,
Yeah.
for age or like legitimate ability. Um, yeah, it shouldn't come to that. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it feels like we've kind of seen some leash extended to some players a little bit in very small increments as the season's gone on. But I just get worried if it's going to be enough, not only to get some of these bench players the reps that they need, the situations that they need, the experience that they need for the rest of the season, and hopefully playoffs. Um, Not only for that, but also to get Skylar a break, get NECA a break so that they are fresh and ready. So when you face whenever, hope, we get there, one of these teams, like a Minnesota or a Vegas, and Phoenix is not a slouch, right? That you're ready for them. And then it's not you are gassed. And like you were mentioning, the other team is younger than you, and they're gonna run by you. So
Want to hear something funny? I don't know if this is funny, may
hmm,
make you cry. Um, this is Dom's only second straight game. Well, she's done it twice so far this season, right? Where she's played more than 10 minutes. Yeah.
hey,
Um,
maybe the leash is being, loosened a little.
Hopefully. Against Vegas, she played 11:40.
Hmm.
Minnesota, she played 10:18. In the Vegas rematch, she played 12:50. Today, she played 10:42. So those 42 seconds saved the record, But
Well,
yeah, I just can't. Don't get me wrong. I understand that this is a talented front court. I understand that she's a rookie. That there are mistakes, and everyone's saying who she's playing ahead of. I understand that. If that was the case, you know what? I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
yeah.
But yeah, I need to see more because every time I see her on the court, I'm just like, yo, this lady can do it all.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
there's nothing on the court that she can't do. It's like her foot speed to be 6'6". I don't think I've ever seen someone move that fast in 6'6" before. Not in this league.
Uh, what stood out to me today, what stood out, excuse me, was just she saw a shot she liked. I think all three of her shots, excuse me, were mid range
Yeah,
or low mid. She didn't hesitate. There was no like, and that could easily come for a younger player, right? Be maybe unsure of herself, maybe want to try to get closer to the basket. She's nope,
yeah.
mid range. All right, knock it down. Boom. Like there's no hesitation there. That is something that, maybe I wouldn't have expected, but the indecisiveness I think, is pretty key. I mean, for an offense that maybe they I forgot what the phrase that was used by NECA and Gabby was post game, but it was like parallelization by analyzation, like basically thinking too much, right? Fancy words for, getting in your own head and overthinking it. Didn't look like Dominique Malonga was doing that. It was like, oh, I see a mid range, 2 points. There we go. Let's get back on defense. Like,
I don't know what it is about that turnaround median lane that she loves so much, but like it's money every single time. I mean, you're 6'6", you put your arms up. I mean, she has a 7'1" wingspan. By the time her arms are up, she's already like scoop. The ball's out of her hands. But yeah, she's gonna be a talent, man. Every time I see her watch the court, it's like she just shows me something else, right? 6 points, uh, one rebound, one foul. May not look great, but it's the hesitancy that defenses have when she's on, well, offenses have when she's on the court on defense. That's all you need, really. The hesitancy, the thinking about it twice. Because at that
mm-hmm,
point, turn them over, steal the ball. They're not looking at the ball; they're looking at down.
mm-hmm.
That's gonna be something to watch. Yeah, the sooner we get that three big lineup consistently, the better this team will be. That's for sure. Especially keeping the stars healthy and rested.
Yeah, yeah. That it's just becoming such a big theme when we talk here. So yeah. What is there? Is it
Would you even
the
know they won by
seventh?
the way we're talking?
No, probably not.
Oh man,
I just expect better. When you see the talent that this roster possesses, realizing that yes, they have a short bench,
yeah.
but you know, we've seen what different players can give you in spurts, not all clicking as one. Um, and I see more than I expected preseason. And so I'm like, okay, that's great. I want more of it. And I know that's going to happen over the course of, yeah, 36 more games. I mean, God, it's a long time before we play the regular season finale on September 9th here versus Golden State. Uh, so yeah, man, that next game, they go on the road for, yeah, one game, but they play four road games in a span of 5 games because they play Phoenix on the road, Minnesota here at home on the 11th, and then three straight games on the road. I don't know what we're doing. Yeah. So
I don't
next
think they know
one,
what they're doing
Saturday.
with the schedules because
No.
what?
Uh yeah. Phoenix three times already. This will be wild. Yeah, Saturday, June 7th at the Phoenix Mercury, 7 o'clock. That game, I gotta make sure because I get folks yelling at me about being a cable cord cutter, and I'm like, great, dude. Oh, okay. Local TV. So CW Seattle. If you're local, League Pass. If not, yep. So, yep, that'll be Cause not back, right?
You said what? No, Kyle's not
Clea
back.
Copper.
No.
Okay. Well, it didn't matter too much the first time, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That'll be a tough one. And hopefully everyone came out of here, like you were mentioning with Gabby's ankle. Hopefully we come out of this one. I don't know what it would look like without Gabby
Yeah.
Williams, my friend. I don't want to think about it. Let's say that.
Think about this schedule. This shit is crazy. Okay, first of all, August 15th, you're at Atlanta, right? And then you turn around, you got to fly to Phoenix again. And then you play one, two, three, four, five road games in the span of 6 days. No, 8 days. That's insane.
Is that August game? Oh, the August game against Atlanta is the Vancouver game. So they're in Vancouver.
Oh, I forgot about that. So you got to
Oh my
fly
God. You
from
got to go to
Vancouver.
Canada.
Yeah. I mean, no one wants to do that.
Nah.
Sorry to the Storm fans that live in Canada that follow me. Not going to be happy
Yeah,
with that one.
they probably live in a better
Oh,
situation in our country right now.
Canada. Honestly, without Trudeau in office, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't a
Mm,
big fan of the guy, but everybody's, everybody wants a piece of what America's got. Just, I don't think that's a good thing for the world, but you know what is good for the world? Gabby Williams minutes.
yes. Well, Lee, you're in minutes.
Hey, Lee Rue, yeah. We gotta come up with a name for Lee Rue, like a catch thing.
We
Because
gotta. We're working on it. Yeah. Every time I try to think of it, just
what
nothing.
rhymes with
Nothing
Rue?
works.
Like
I was.
Lee
I'm
Rue,
not a
there's
rhymer.
nothing she can't do. That's kind of lame.
Mm, we'll workshop it. All right.
The-
Yeah, man. Till we see you on the weekend. Uh, who knows where I'll be for that game? We'll see. We'll figure it out. Um, yeah, man. Till we see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Do whatever you can to make today a great day.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, were you going to watch the Seattle Storm away games this year?
Away games. Well, Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports, so I was thinking of coming here if that's okay with you.
I think that makes a lot of sense. See you all here.